Hey everybody. Oh, as you might recall if you listened to my last video, I said I was going to be back again to do the Unlimited Realm Part 2. And I also mentioned that the biggest topic was going to be love. So, you might notice I've got a different background than I normally do. So I'm sitting in the sauna that I'm building for Dean. And why am I choosing this to sit in? Well, because you guys might also remember me saying that my phrase of the year is action rooted in love. Okay, so meaning that I know that this year of 2020 is a year that I need to take action, I need to move, I need to do because I just can't have another year go by that I'm like, oh, I wish I would have. Okay, but I also know that when you're just striving and you're not walking that out with love in your heart, and this is just everyday stuff. It's not even like, oh, I need to be serving in love. No, like you need to breed love in your home. You need to be thankful that you have dishes to wash. You need to be creating your meals for your family in love. You know, love just needs to encompass everything you do. So that's why I say action has to be rooted in love. I do have some notes as usual, keep me on track, and to remember a couple things that I wanted to point out from the book. But when I was writing notes, I remember once upon a time, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but I remember there was a time that God talked to me, and he just very clearly, he said, like, Nicole, you know, if you only knew how much I love you, your life would be totally different. And I think that's because if I don't think any of us are truly grasping the depth of his love and the love that we are to walk in, because if we were, just life wouldn't be the struggle that it sometimes is, I guess is how I would phrase that. So I said, you know, if life isn't what you think it should be, or you feel like you don't know what your purpose is, it's really truly probably rooted in you're not walking in love. And if you're walking in love, you're not walking in it consistently. So because you aren't daily walking in love, you aren't giving God's love, and you're not just soaking yourself in his love. But I'm going to go back, and so some of the notes I had. So God has a plan for each of us, but it's not going to come to pass until we get up and do something about it. Thus, my action rooted in love. The love of God, quite simply, must be stronger in us than the love of this world. It starts out with a brief snippet about forgiveness. And I think the gist of that is that when you're harboring unforgiveness in your heart, I think you're blocking love, right? Because if you truly had God's love and God's love was pouring through you, God is a God of forgiveness. And so you're not walking in love if you've got unforgiveness in your heart. This was an interesting note. He says, why do people get offended so easily? Their behavior provides insight into how deep their forgiveness goes. That's interesting food for thought. Okay, so unlimited love, unlimited realm, unlimited love, right? Because if God is love, and he's unlimited, then love is unlimited. I think you guys are all familiar with the 1 Corinthians 13, right? Love is this. You got your whole list. Love is both patient and kind. And says, you ever notice how much Christians are so much, I think it's people in general, right? But so less patient and kind with the ones that are closest to you. You know, it's like you're with your family and your closest friends. Like you're more likely to treat them crappy, I guess is how I would say it. And it says, too often we let familiarity cool the love of God in our hearts. Familiarity, cooling the love. So that, I think that's a challenge, and that's why I think I started with saying, just breeding love in your home by everything that you do. So rather than being maybe almost a sense of bitterness of like, oh, all I do is this and nobody notices and nobody cares. It doesn't matter if anybody notices or cares. It's the fact that you know that you're doing those things because you're doing them in love, whether the other people around you recognize it or not. It's solely rooted in you, not those around you. Agape love. So in love is God's power. So also in 1 Corinthians, it talks about if I have this and I have that, I like to sum it up and say, even if I am so awesome and I have not love, I am nothing. So you can be as awesome as you want to be in this world. You can be even achieving great things in business and from the all outside aspects, it looks like you're succeeding. But if you don't have love, you're nothing. And I think that that's true. I think that there's been times in my life, maybe when my love hasn't been turned on as much as it should be, that all things can look awesome from the outside and maybe don't feel as awesome on the inside. And I'm assuming that I'm not the only person that's ever felt that way. So, importance of love. So God's book is a book of love. His plan is a plan of love. His destiny for us is a destiny of love. And his purpose for us is a purpose of love. He began in love. He laid the foundations of the earth in love. In everything that he did, it was in love. Even in the Old Testament, and there's these crazy stories, like he corrected in love. So love needs to be in operation all the time in everything we do. So increasing in love. How do we increase in love then? Right? Okay, Nicole, I understand we're supposed to walk in love, but how? How do we do that when the kids are just acting up and, we got something in the mail or that was unexpected, or, somebody treats us poorly, or we lose our keys in the store and you got to have a new key made, whatever random things happen in your world, right? Okay. So God's who's going to teach us about love, because God is love, right? We're not going to learn to be able to walk out love because it's our own pursuits and because we're personally striving to walk in love. It's something that's going to come from spending time with God. And then, because that who you associate with, you become more like, right? Okay. So if you associate with God more, you're going to be more like God, and God is love. So that's how you're going to grow in being a loving person and walking love out in everything that you do. When our hearts are set on God's love, it thrives and it increases, and nothing else could stop us. So as we spend more time in his presence, we're going to be more loving. Now, why would we want to do this? So here's the advantages. There's always an advantage, right? So advantages. When we walk in love, God knows we won't misuse his knowledge and his wisdom. So therefore, he's going to pour it out more freely. Because with love comes trust. Do you know that with love comes trust? Love is doing what you say you're going to do. Love is not, how do I want to say, not walking in selfish motives. Not doing something just because it benefits you. I mean, things can benefit you, but you should be doing them in the best interest of all involved, I guess is how I would say it. Pouring out love, setting others free, doing what God has called us to do. That is excellency. One of the things I want to end with towards the back of this book, this is so interesting, because I was familiar with the first scripture and I've never connected it with this other scripture reference. So I think this was specifically from the King James translation. So Matthew 17:20. So this has to do with faith. So if you have faith as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. Okay, I think a lot of people like read that and they're like, so that means if I just had faith, like how small is a mustard seed? Like, and I'm supposed to be able to move a mountain? Like, right. Okay, that's not working for me. Okay, well, first of all, I think that there's a lot of definitions of mountain, right? There's mountains in your, things that can be mountains in your life that aren't a physical mountain. So one, think of it that way. But then, you know, there's a note of what's the difference between as small as a mustard seed versus faith as a mustard seed. So then referencing Matthew 13 verses 31 and 32, another parable he put forth to them saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is greater than the herbs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and nest in its branches. So current size isn't the emphasis, but the fact that it will grow. And within the seed, so basically within that mustard seed is the blueprint of a giant tree, and that giant tree will have thousands more seeds, which have the blueprint of a giant tree that will have thousands of more seeds, right? So you can see where our faith has the unlimited potential to multiply and reproduce and multiply and reproduce. But it really just the main gist of that, I'm like, okay, so I put so much pressure on, wow, I must have like zero faith because I sometimes can't move mountains, but I think I need to grow my seed into a tree. that might help. The last thing I think I want to end with that was in here was power without compassion can accomplish nothing, but power with unlimited love can accomplish the impossible. It's love that gives faith the ability to move mountains. So anyway, I hope you guys, I just really hope you grab onto the idea of walking in God's love, and that true love is God's love, not all the, all the definitions that we tend to have in our current world. You guys know all the different definitions that are used, but it's just really specifically focusing on living in and soaking in God's love and letting that love be so prominent in your life that it just flows from you every day to others. And I truly think that if as a society and as people, if we could grasp onto what that true version of love is instead of all of our other offshoot versions of love, I think we would see a world of difference. And so the best we can do is just start with us, right? And I do truly believe that I know from the days that I walk out love that those are the days that are so much better than others, because the greatest of these is love. And it's the first fruit of the Spirit, right? So anyways, the other thing you'll be seeing on my social media at some point is more progress on the sauna. See you guys.